And CBS News Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues joins us now from our Washington bureau. Jeff, let's start with this meeting between top Trump aides, including his son and his son-in-law and that Russian lawyer with ties to the Kremlin. What will special counsel Robert Mueller want to know about that conversation?
Well, specifically what was discussed in this meeting. We've heard Donald Trump Jr. Give us his account of what was discussed, but investigators are going to want to confirm that by talking to everyone who was in the meeting. Maybe not the Russian lawyer, but certainly Paul Manafort and Jared Kushner and Donald Trump Jr., of course. And so they have to get to the bottom of what was said, because that is critical here. Keep in mind the FBI and the special counsel specifically is investigating whether there was any type of coordination between the Russian government and members of the Trump campaign or people in the Trump orbit. And that's why it's critical to find out what was said in this meeting.
So the Trump administration, though, has for months denied ever having any contact with Russians who were trying to meddle in the election. Based on what you know right now about this situation, do you think this revelation sort of undercuts that claim?
Well, it certainly raises more questions. And if you're the White House, you don't want more questions popping up in relation to this investigation. But that's what this new revelation does. It gives investigators something else to examine. However, even though we're reporting it now, investigators have probably already taken a look at this. It's hard to tell at this point what they found and what they've determined. But it is another avenue of investigation, and it seems, as I've said over the last several months, that these new avenues of investigation continue to pop up, and that's what stokes some of the suspicion here. And it's certainly frustrating for the White House to have to respond to this over and over and over again. But when you have these contacts that aren't disclosed, well, that raises questions about whether there was some sort of coordination or not. We don't know where exactly the FBI counterintelligence investigation stands at this point. We're now almost exactly a year in. But we still have a long way to go, according to our law enforcement sources who are close to this investigation. We still have a ways to go before they come to any type of conclusions. And it's complicated. If you look at the range of people involved in this and the names that continue to pop up, this is not a simple open and shut case. This is very complicated because investigators are trying to figure out, well, if there was any type of contact and if there was any alleged coordination, was it witting? Did the people involved know that they were being used by Russian operatives, that they were being pumped for information, or were they willing participants? So it is really complicated.
Yeah, and it also brings up issues of conflict of interest as well, which we haven't talked about. But I want to get you on another topic that people are discussing today. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, Jeff, are criticizing President Trump's suggestion about forming a cybersecurity unit with the Russians. What are you hearing from your sources inside the intel community about that idea? Well,
I think when you hear it, what you hear from members of Congress, that this is sort of a laughable idea. It mirrors what law enforcement and intelligence sources are thinking about this. I mean, consider we still have several investigations into Russian meddling in the election. And there is consensus in the intelligence community that this is something that happened. And so to have any type of discussion of any type of coordination with the Russians in terms of how to prevent cyber intrusions, to a lot of people who see that on its face, it's laughable.
Yeah, indeed. Jeff Pegues in Washington. Thank you so much, Jeff.